On a day like this, on this anniversary, do you wake up and think all of the victories we were hoping for have been achieved, or do you have a heart sink at the victories that we basically haven't had?
Well, look, I mean, what happened 3 years ago today was a very big moment. I mean, not just a big historic constitutional moment, but it marked the end of over 3 years of the most disgraceful period of modern democracy in Britain, where a national referendum and the attempt to stop it, and it went through large sections of politics and the media. This was the day 3 years ago that finally, the people's voice was respected. And I think it's absolutely right that we should be a self-governing democratic nation. We should chart our own course in the world. However, 3 years on, you have to say, the enormous opportunities, economic opportunities that we had from everything, from the fishing industry to financial services, we have not taken advantage of. Now, some will tell you that's because the government was preoccupied with COVID. I think the truth of it is the Conservative Party, who fought against it all the way, then landed us with a very bad deal. I mean, Boris Johnson told us it was oven ready. I mean, the oven wasn't even preheated, frankly. And I just don't think they ever really believed in it. In the end, they grabbed at it for electoral opportunity. So many of us, including me, feel very disappointed about the way in which the Conservatives have carried this out. And the big one, the really big one, is this. The reason the turnout in that referendum was about 10% higher than all the experts thought it would be, there was one piece of sovereignty that people really demanded was sorted out, and that was Britain's borders. And if you look today, levels of legal immigration are far higher than they were as European Union members, let alone the 45,000 people that crossed the English Channel in small dinghies last year. And I think people who voted Brexit to get back control of our borders have every right today, 3 years on, to feel betrayed by this government.
When you look at what both main parties are saying now, Nigel, with the Conservatives and also with Labour, their position on the EU, do you get the feeling that the message that they are sending about how they would handle the relationship with Europe going forward is what you would want to hear from either of them?
Well, I think the message that we're getting from the government is that a deal is close on Northern Ireland, which will mean, I'm almost certain, that constitutionally Ireland will just not be fully part of the United Kingdom. And the message I get from David Lammy, particularly from Labour, is whilst he says on the one hand we will not rejoin the single market or the European Union, we'll rejoin virtually every other group, we'll align ourselves to their rules. So I think, assuming that Labour win the next election, which I think is a fairly good bet, we'll finish up with a full Brino, a full Brexit in name only. We will be independent, but our room for manoeuvre, if we mirror everything the EU does, will be very, very limited, and that will lead, down the path to some saying, well, look, if we're having to accept EU laws, maybe we should be in there having a say. So, look, I think, as I say, the Conservatives won a massive majority on the back of a Get Brexit Done slogan, having made a terrible mess of it for over 3 years. Boris Johnson's government had the world at their feet. They had the chance to bring opportunity and benefit to tens of millions of Britons, and they've dropped the ball.